This time on Road and Race, I chat with the former Stig, Ben Collins, about why the Koenigsegg he drove on Top Gear crashed, his thoughts on the Grand Tour, if he repairs his own cars, and the time he had to beat Vin Diesel. So I'd like to welcome to Road and Race, Mr. Ben Collins. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
No problem, no. Thank you for coming on the show. I mean, so obviously you've got your new book out.
Yep.
How to Drive. On the surface, the title How to Drive didn't really, if I'm honest, make me want to buy it. But I've read it, and it's a really good book.
Thanks.
It's a really good book because everyone kind of thinks, oh yeah, I know how to drive.
Yeah.
But it's not until you read this book you think, oh.
Yeah. Well, I thought I knew how to drive, and I grew up on a farm racing around in quad bikes and anything I could get my hands on, basically. And I've done lots of time with my old plate on, and I really thought I knew it all. And I passed first time, which was the worst thing that could have happened.
I failed first time.
I wasn't really ready. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the best things that happened to me.
Probably.
I'll come into that later.
Humbling. For some people, ego is a problem. So for me, it was. I was a bit too arrogant as a kid, and thought I knew more than I did. For other people, they need a confidence boost. So somewhere in between, in the middle, is the right balance. So I guess really, from making really stupid mistakes in my younger years, on track and on the roads, I thought it'd be good to exploit those for the benefit of others, to learn from my stupid mistakes, as well as have fun with stories from racing, Top Gear,
some great stories,
movies.
There are some great stories.
Yeah, no one wants to read a manual. I mean, if someone gave me a driving manual age 16, I would have not read it. So.
Well, that's the beauty of this book, because you don't realise you're kind of learning stuff, and it's all the anecdotes blend in with the kind of the real world experience. It's like a real world kind of driving tutorial in a way.
That was the idea, yeah.
Yeah, and it works really well. I mean, there's some great tips in the book, like reverse parking, getting through those metal width restrictions about dinging your car.
Hateful.
Yeah, because no matter
Especially
how hard
London.
you try, you're going to do it eventually. But I've been driving for 20 years, and even I was like, oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because you give us some great tips. And I was kind of hooked by chapter 3, so
great.
I do recommend the book. There's some great safety tips in there as well about skidding and car control. I particularly like the story where you were wearing a bald cap, pretending to be Vin Diesel. So
I loved it. Yeah, bald caps. What a wonderful device. Really, I love working on these movies. Very lucky to have that job. So generally, it involves doing all the stuff that you're not allowed to do legally. So we blocked off the whole of Piccadilly Circus. We had it for 2 nights. To film this really cool car chase and slide a car sort of 70 mile an hour around and through.
It's quite narrow there, though, isn't it?
It's really narrow,
yeah.
And we had to double check our map because we had a Google Map snapshot, and we looked at it. We recreated it using cones on an airfield. And thought that looks really easy, and then we checked it and realised that because they put a bus lane in, it narrows, and we had to measure the car sideways, see if it fit through. So it was really tight. We had about, I think it was half a foot each end at one point. So it was quite hairy.
You've got quite a time pressure as well to do that. It's quite a stressful night. You have to close the roads. You've got like small windows to do the work as well, haven't it?
Yeah. Really easy to make a big mistake. So we had, I think, I don't know how many stunt guys we were all working on that together, but a lot. And so a lot of them were embedded, but to try and keep the crowds back, because really we had to make it safe enough that if there was a problem, that we weren't going to mow down a load of civvies.
Were you channeling Vin in the car? Were you trying to get
I felt the channel. Yeah, absolutely.
What would Vin do in this situation?
Yeah, they're amazing films to work on. I mean, the beauty of it, they do some wacky stuff which defies gravity with cables and things like that.
It's an understatement.
Yeah, but the car stuff is real, and the stunt team that they use, they've been using for
since number 3, since Tokyo Drift.
I think Andy Gill and a load of these regulars that they have. He's an amazing coordinator and action guy.
About him.
Yeah, he was a Knight Rider driver back in the 80s.
Oh,
so he's a legend. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, really cool. And so
So the book's available in hardback, paperback, Kindle. Will there be an Audible version?
I'm about to do the Audible.
Oh, good,
so looking forward to that. We're doing the audio book. I'll do that in June, I think.
I love the Audible books.
I love them.
Yeah,
it has transformed my commute.
Yeah.
I
just sit down and listen to them.
Yeah, I've listened to a lot of Jack Reacher. Mostly, I seem to gravitate towards these violent dramas. But yeah, I really enjoy it. It's great.
So probably one of the worst crashes on the Top Gear show was the Koenigsegg incident. Was that you driving when that happened?
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up.
How did that compare to other crashes? Is that one of the scarier moments of your life? Or?
No, it was pretty tame.
Oh, really?
It was
looked
high
terrible.
Speed. Yeah, it felt terrible because I think it was worth a £500,000 car. The hard thing with that machine was that there was a problem with the brakes, so I had to pump the brake pedal to get the brakes to stop the car.
Like a prototype then or something, was it?
It was an early production.
Early car, so it wasn't
car,
quite
yeah.
finished.
No, it was there. It had done a lot of, it'd been hacked around a lot.
Oh, okay.
You go from usable steering to solid.
You didn't mention that on Top Gear.
And basically, I was just trying to get the nth degree, and it's an absolute beast to drive. I mean, it was in terms of adrenaline, it was the highest. That car really, it was very, very challenging. So you're really on your case.
Would you say scary though, or
no,
not scary?
Not at all. But it was fast, and I got sideways at sort of 90 mile an hour or something. And I went to counter steer, and I couldn't unwind the steering because it's me
Power
making my
steering
excuses.
failed, probably.
But yeah, it did. It seized up on the power steering, so I couldn't. And I literally, it snapped back the other way, and I thought, there's no tyre walls anywhere at that track really, and I managed to hit the only one on the whole site. I'd never even noticed this tyre wall existed, but it went off straight, buried the tyre wall, and then one of the big tyres got stuck inside the grill, and we were desperately trying to get it out because Christian von Koenigsegg was there on the day, and he came out in the ambulance. We were trying to heave this thing out. It looked ridiculous. We couldn't get it out in time, and he came and looked at it, and he looked really quite pissed off.
Can't be upset, can he? It's good promotion, It's the best car show in the world.
It wasn't his best day, no.
Obviously, the Stig was used for other things, like most famously, like the public transport tests where they all raced around London. I always would assume that it's just like a producer or a work experience guy in the suit, because they wouldn't bother you. But I read that you actually did it.
Yeah, I used to do those things. I guess after a while, I really understood what the whole Stig thing was about, and so I used to have a lot of fun just bumbling around doing what seemed to be. I watched a lot of Crocodile Dundee, and it's a bit like the first time he went down an elevator. It was that sort of escalator even. So
it's great that you did it though.
Yeah, I loved it. It was really fun, and getting to make up those things on the hop. We just had to, just try and do what you thought what would the Stig do in those situations. So it was fun, and I think they did start to throw other people in, and it didn't really work. I think because they didn't really know how to behave. They didn't look right, or they.
It's a character, isn't it? Yeah. But did you pretend to be like American Stigs or cousins?
I was German Stig, which was fun. I was the hipster Stig or eco Stig, which in a green suit with wearing Birkenstocks.
It was great to see back the Top Gear guys on the segment for their live show where they introduced the Ben Collins. It was great. They have on Grand Tour, I assume you've seen it.
The American.
The American. I always thought you would be a perfect fit for that. I always thought I would really love to see you doing that.
I'd love to do it, but I don't know if there's a legal block or I don't know. They've got that role sorted. Yeah, it would be fun because it would have been great to hang out with them again.
One of the weaker parts of the show, the American.
The track is. I'd say the track sucks. It's not a proper track. I don't know why. When they got a world of choice, you would go there.
Saying how difficult it was.
The Ebola drome because it's shaped like an Ebola strain.
Kinda, yeah.
But it's too open in one place and then it's very tight and twisty in the other. So I think it's a fun show. I really think it's great. But definitely they should upgrade the track.
They were saying how difficult it was finding places like Dunsfold and things like that. But I mean,
there are a lot of Cold War bases. They're unfortunately turning a lot of them into housing estates, but
including Dunsfold.
Yeah, I heard that's quite sad. Yeah,
well, what's going to happen to Top Gear? Because
they'll have to move.
But okay, yeah.
Could be good for them. You never know.
Okay, well, hopefully. Any bad injuries from racing or driving? I mean,
I broke 4 ribs once and a bone in my neck when I was racing in Romania, and it wasn't my fault. I just managed to get pole position in qualifying at the end of the session, and the guy behind wasn't paying attention.
At once, 4 ribs and a bone.
Yeah, in the back, just off my spine. The whole body kind of came through the door. It was pretty heavy.
Does that make you not want to get back in the car though, or?
No, I was desperate to to go racing again.
Really?
It's just physically, the G-force. There's no way. It was like opening up a chasm in your spine. It was agony, bloody painful.
Yeah, imagine. Yeah.
It put me out of racing, and that was the motivations. It forced me to go and do other things, and because I needed a new income, and that's when I got into the films. That's when I did the first movie, National Treasure 2 with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. My YouTube channel has segments where I repair cars and modify cars. Do you ever get the spanners out yourself? You're into that kind of thing?
I'd love to come and do some driving on your channel, but then if you ask me to fix anything, I mean, I'm good at I can break them for you by driving the wheels off them. But in terms of repair, I mean, very basic stuff. Okay, fine, but no.
Do you have a favourite track in the UK you like to drive at all?
Love Alton Park.
Alton Park.
It's fantastic. I can't think of a better track, really. I love the flow of the track, I love the bumps, the cambers. I think it would be an incredibly difficult entity to replicate. And I've been working on a video game called Project Cars, which is a simulation racing game, so you probably get into it. And it's been laser scanned, and literally every bump, every curbstone is recreated. And again, it's just it's in game. It's my favourite. I take everything, and we've got Le Mans prototypes, GT cars, Ferraris, everything. Go and lash around on that track. It's fantastic.
Are you a bit of a computer game fan then, or?
I never used to be.
Okay.
Which is why I was hired in a way to work as a consultant for the handling, because I was a lot of the old driving games were really dull.
Arcadey, and just not based on any kind of real physics. Yeah.
But now, the way we've done it, the feedback you get, and the way that the car balances between losing grip at the front end and the rear, you can really drive it on a knife edge the way you should, and get the feedback through the wheel. It's
I look forward to playing it.
amazing.
Do you know if there's a release date at all? Or?
First one's already out. Project Cars 2, I think, comes out third quarter, fourth quarter this year. Yeah.
Did you work on the first one as well then? Oh, right, wow. I'll try and check it out.
Yeah, it's good.
Right. Any other stuff coming up in the future you want to tell us about, or proud of? Or
well, got more writing to do, so I'm going to try my hand at some fictional stuff.
Oh, really? That'd be great.
I'm working on that. It's taking me ages, but I'm getting there slowly. And hopefully some TV stuff.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet me. And,
I look forward to checking your channel out.
I'll gladly show you, yes,
great.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Andy.
Cheers.
Click the box on the top right for my series on buying and owning a BMW M3, and click the box below to see my first drive video of the new Focus RS. If you'd like to know when new videos are out, then click my face to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.